Hello and welcome back to the Beefy Tech channel. Today we're taking a look at Helldivers 2. I've been on a slight 2-week hiatus where I didn't really post any videos because I was on vacation, but luckily this game released just in time for me to come back and have some fun with it. Basically, we're going to take a look at the performance of the game with the respective settings you're seeing on the screen. I did indeed do some custom settings, like put the display mode to full screen, make sure the game's running native because by default it doesn't, and also messing around a little bit with the graphics, but not too much, just, turning off the bloom, depth of field, the motion blur, so normal stuff, but otherwise I didn't really touch any of the texture stuff except the ambient occlusion, which I turned off, and the rest is all stock default how the game came, and I left it like that just because the settings looked fairly reasonable, but you could probably just run them all on ultra, given the type of game that this is. Now, the performance of the game is actually incredibly good. I am using a 4090 and I am using a 14900K. Okay, I get it. It's the best of the best from the respective brands. But this CPU has been returned to stock, so it's running 5.7 GHz, and the RAM is bone stock XMP 7600. Yes, 7600 XMP is still quite high in terms of RAM speeds, but it's not 8000 with fully tuned timings like I would usually run, so yet again, very respectable numbers. As you can see, the GPU usage basically locks at 95%, and for this game it doesn't seem to go above that, meaning we can consider it basically being 100% GPU usage in most of the gaming scenarios. You will notice the occasional cutscene that takes the GPU usage down within this game, and that's most likely just due to the cutscene's nature, but you don't really see the 1% lows dropping, so what can I tell you? The game is fairly well optimized. I did make cuts over here just to show you how the ship performs, how the training facility performs, and an actual mission performs. The actual mission's coming in a little bit. Over here, within the ship itself, the GPU usage is lower, signaling that there's either going to be some sort of frame limiter in place, and I think the frame limiter is around 240, or CPU bound scenarios. And there would seem to be a bit of a CPU bound scenario on the ship, but the FPS is so high that it yet again wouldn't really affect it here. I messed around the ship just specifically to see if the performance dipped at any point. I messed with the armory and it wasn't the case, but when you do enter menus, it does have a frame time spike. But then again, you're entering a menu, so the game does seem to be well optimized, nothing out of the ordinary with the ship performance. And also the GPU and CPU wattage were pretty much stable and exactly the same throughout the entire gaming session. I'm particularly surprised with the fact that this game, once you're in a mission, basically holds 95% GPU usage the entire way through. It doesn't go down, it doesn't go up. And that is very interesting. It does mean you're fully GPU bound because it looks to be by design that you're locked at 95%, but I've not seen many games do this before, so I'm happy with the results. The FPS is also high enough at 1440p high and ultra settings to where I could say, yeah, this is exactly how I'd want to play the game. Maybe at 4K the game might even be more enjoyable because it's not that sweaty of a game in its nature, it's fairly casual. And personally, I would consider playing this game in 4K even if it meant losing like 60 FPS because damn, is the game smooth. If you take a look at the frame timeline, it's not budging at all. It means zero stutters, nothing that could feel bad. The game basically runs perfectly. So whatever the developers did with Helldivers 2, I hope other game developers do with other games, because the game runs buttery smooth. Here I had to disable the little overlay because I was trying to drop things in and the overlay was blocking it. As you can tell, I'm fairly trash at putting in the little arrow thingy because I was a bit confused at first with how that worked, but I figured it out eventually. Now, one thing to keep in mind, you want to conserve ammo in this game, because I got a bit haywire with the ammo consumption, and boy oh boy, I ran out of ammo and had to run around for like 10 minutes trying to figure out how to get ammo and heal. Eventually made it, and got to this point. Now, I will re-enable the performance metrics, but basically, the game throughout the entire session stayed at 166 1% lows-ish, with like 190 to 200 averages, which is insane. So basically, through explosions, through fights, through healing, the 1% lows didn't drop. This game is optimized like no other, and I'm happy to say it's the most impressive optimization I've seen in a while. And that is basically why I also wanted to test this with a 4900K being bone stock. Let's say you're just a casual dude that loves playing video games, you're not a sweat in any way, shape or form, but you want the best performance you can get because you can afford it. Well, what if you get a 14900K, turn on XMP, and then just enjoy a game. Well, you can, especially with this game. You don't need to do any overclocking. You don't need custom windows for this. You don't need to do anything. You just need to update Windows, update your drivers, have your chipsets installed. Boom, you can now enjoy all of your games with no overclocking, nothing. So the 14900K is insanely strong even stock, but of course it can benefit from an overclock. Thing is, in this game at least, you really don't need it because you're basically 100% GPU bound even at 1440p. And you're 100% GPU bound at like 200 FPS at 1440p, which means you have basically no benefits from overclocking your CPU for a game like this. Yeah, other games, say like Warzone, could benefit from it. There's always benefits in games that are that CPU bound, but this game is well optimized and doesn't require it. So yes, even a bone stock 14900K is overkill for 1440p gaming. It'll probably hit the frame limiter before it becomes a problem in terms of the CPU performance. So there you go. You really don't need to touch the overclocks on the 14900K or probably even on a 7800X3D to be able to enjoy a game like this. But the actual reason I decided to not overclock the 14900K for this is because I was doing another video, or at least preparing another video, where I'm comparing stock versus full overclocked on the Intel rig. I've done this before on the AMD rig and it was a very interesting video, and I'm doing it again with the Intel rig. And given I had the PC at stock after I've updated the BIOS, I was like, fuck it, we'll record a video and see how it performs. And indeed, I'm going to be using this footage to compare against the overclocked version, as I'll be playing this game again, but with the overclock system too. One more important announcement, this one unrelated to the game. Beefy Tech optimizing website is no more, so I do not provide optimization services anymore. I will be fully removing the website from my YouTube channel, and I will not be doing optimizations anymore. Why? To be honest with you guys, think about it this way. If you do 9 hours a day of something that you like, eventually you're not gonna like it anymore because you're gonna be done with it, and then what are you gonna do? Wanna do more of it? Picture this. You tune computers for 9 hours, you're done. Now you go back to your computer. What's the last thing you're gonna wanna do? Tune. There you go. Basically, this is a passion of mine. It's a hobby. And doing the optimizations was kind of ruining the whole passion for me. And if it's not a passion, what's the point of doing it then? I don't depend on this financially, and if I did, I'd definitely be screwed. So, to sum it up, I'm gonna keep doing YouTube, but not optimizations. Regardless though, this game is very fun, and I'll definitely continue hard at working on the YouTube stuff and doing more and more interesting content because YouTube is just fun. I don't make much money off of it at all, but it doesn't matter because I love doing it. And this video is a perfect example of I had an idea, I put it into practice, and here we are. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was very fun for me to make, and I hope to see you next time. Peace.